Okay, all right. In the following video, in tomorrow's lesson, we are going to discuss this topic, or this is one of the topics, one of the subjects that we are going to discuss in the following video. Okay, we are going to study expressing the presence of obligation. Of course, there is the absence of obligation as well, but for now, we are going to study expressing the presence of obligation and necessity or need with these models and modal phrases, okay, and expressions. For example, be obliged to, be obligation to, be necessary to, be a necessity to. Okay, these are really important, essential expressions. For example, the first sentence is this: I must see the director. So it's all about inward strong obligation. Okay, I want to. Okay, I want to see the director. But what about the next one? I have to. I have to see the director. This is an outwardly strong obligation. He wants me to see him. Okay, the director wants me to see. Okay, I have to because of external conditions. Okay, so in another way, or this is another alternative way of expressing the same message. For example, I am obliged to see the director. Yes, to give the both messages, both either inwardly strong obligation or outwardly strong obligation. Okay, I am obliged to see the director. It's an obligation for me to see the director. There is an obligation for me to see the director. Or I have an obligation to see the director. So all of them give the same message. Okay. For example, dialogue 2, you have to or you have got to. You have to work 8 hours a day. You have got to work 8 hours a day. Yes, I know it, but in fact, I must work 10 hours a day. So 8 plus 2 hours. 2 hours more, okay? So this is an internal obligation or responsibility. Yes, I know it, but in fact, yes, I know that I have to work 8 hours a day, but in fact, actually, I must work 2 more hours, so I must work 10 hours a day. They don't oblige me to work 10 hours, but I myself feel that obligation. Okay. For example, let's re-express it with obliged to. Okay. Okay. I am obliged to work 8 hours a day. Yes, I am obliged to work 8 hours a day. What about be an obligation? Be obligation for or to. Okay. It's an obligation. No, sorry, for somebody. There is an obligation for me to work 8 hours a day. Do you have to work 8 hours per day? Yes, I have to work 8 hours per day. No, I don't have to. Okay, if we say, no, I don't have to work 8 hours a day, it means it is not the presence of obligation, it is the absence of lack of obligation. What about this one? You have to or you have got to work 8 hours a day. You are obliged to work 8 hours a day. It's an obligation for you to work 8 hours a day. There is an obligation for you to work 8 hours a day. Labor, creation, and rest. Okay, there should be a balance between labor and creation and recreation and rest. Okay, the third one, you have to stay here, okay? You have to stay here and take down notes every 1 hour. For you have got to explain the situation to the expert in detail. Roy has to wear a uniform. Lily has got to wear special clothes. So let's give the same message with A, B, C, and D expressions. Okay. Be obliged to, for example. Lily has got to wear special clothes. So Lily is obliged to wear special clothes. It's an obligation for Lily to wear special clothes. See, there is an obligation. There is an obligation for Lily to wear special clothes. Or Lily has an obligation to wear special clothes. Seventh sentence, example sentence. Your wife and you have to wait for the children at the gate. You and your wife and you have to wait for the children at the gate. This is an external obligation. 8, I am having to. So we also make it continuous like this. I am having to write, okay? Or I was having to write. I will be having to write. I will have to write, okay? But for now, I am having to write reports in that sort of situations. 9, I've had to, okay? I've had to switch off the button. Okay, let me stop here. I hope it will be useful. Before the complete video.